Welcome to my podcast. My name is Corrinala, and I come to you from the Pacific Northwest, where I live with my partner, 2 horses that I adopted from the Bureau of Land Management Wildhorse Adoption Program, and 2 kitties that we adopted from a local animal shelter. Information about these adoption programs will be in the show notes for every episode. Originally, I created this podcast to be accountable for my knitting projects. Horsemanship, the way in which sentient beings are cared for and communicated with in a highly intuitive and respectful way, is another passion and is woven into each episode. And finally, gardening is often featured in each episode because I believe that growing our own organic produce as much as possible is a way to our care for ourselves, the environment, and each other. These themes are integrated to express kindness and respect for each other. If you are a crafter, please grab your project and something nice to drink while you watch. Everyone is welcome to join the kindness revolution from wherever you are. I believe that even the smallest acts of kindness, thinking about kindness, sparks positive change. The horses have it right. What is good for the herd is good for the individual. Enjoy. Hey friends, happy Friday. Sorry it's kind of dark in here. I'm still getting my act together. Today is July 10. Oh, and you're crooked too. Very sorry about that. We'll go outside. It's July 10, 2025. I'm on my way out to feed the horses. It's about 6:30 in the morning. And as you may have seen in the darkness, that my arm is still in a sling. That is true. It's been, about 2 weeks now? Or maybe, must be about 2 weeks since I fell off and Odin my Mustang and dislocated my left shoulder. One word to the wise. Not that anyone plans to get injured, but when I injured my shoulder in January, it was after the holidays, people were coming back to work, and getting scheduled for diagnostics and appointments was pretty quick, relatively speaking. Since I injured this shoulder the weekend before July 4th, which is a holiday week, you might say, here in the US. It's the timing of everything seems to have been delayed. My MRI is scheduled for next week. So almost 3 weeks. That'll be almost 3 weeks since the injury. And then my follow-up appointment with the surgeon isn't until the end of July. So another 10 days. Hopefully I won't have to be in the sling that long. I try to take it out of the sling and at least get some movement in the arm just by swinging it, getting some blood flow so that I don't end up with frozen shoulder, which is another problem. But it doesn't like to be out of the sling. It prefers to be supported. So I end up wearing the sling a lot. So while I'm doing what I can, I am able to feed the horses independently. Randy is still graciously doing the manure picking. I could probably pick. I don't think I could manage the wheelbarrow. So that's where I'm at right now. I do have some knitting updates for you. Maybe a few gardening updates too. Not sure where the horses are. Assume they must be in the round pen. So we had some weather earlier this week. It actually rained a couple days ago, which was kind of nice. And now we're supposed to get back to summer weather. I
I don't know if you can see O in the round pen, but that is where he is. So, and oh, it looks like he's touching his cone. So, yesterday was the first day that I really kind of messed around with him in the round pen since my injury. And we practiced this targeting game. Hi, boys. We practiced this targeting game where I had him touching each of those objects. And it was interesting because he wanted to completely bypass this red ball and then just go, there he goes. What a good boy. Did you show me you could learn that lesson? Here, have a cookie for that because you did it. Oh, good boy. Are you touching it too? Yeah. I'm going to have to, I owe you a cookie because I don't have any more cookies. Nice, sweet pea. So the game I was trying to play with them, or with O, was to touch each of those in sequence. And he wanted to go right for the, all right, boys. He wanted to go right for the blue ball and the orange one, but he wanted to skip the red one. So we spent some time on the red one, which is why he offered this yesterday. So I'm going to get to feeding. I'm going to get Bragi his cookie. Rearranging the furniture. Thanks, buddy. All right, I'll see you in the knitting segment. Hey, friends. Welcome to the knitting portion of my podcast. I think you've probably noticed that I managed to adjust the camera settings so things are a little bit closer, and I'm going to adjust the tripod a little bit, bring it down. Hopefully that won't come crashing down. I'm also trying to kind of work with the light so it's not too glary. All that to say, let's begin, shall we? So I wanted to share with you my finished object. I talked about it in my vlog quite a bit, but I just wanted to, these have finished blocking now. I've called these the Winter Arctic socks. Winter Arctic Light. And these are a Doodle pattern by Pacific Knit Co. I have the details about it in my show notes, and the sock recipe came from the Doodle book, also by Pacific Knit Co. These are a mixed weight yarn pattern. I just grabbed a bunch of scraps to practice with. I think most of it's DK. The walrus is green, or is obviously green, is worsted, I think. You'll notice that in this sock, the walrus is on each side. In this sock, the walrus is on the front and the back. Not intentional. I was just practicing working with doodles and working with a sock pattern I'd never done before. The heels are short row heels, which I actually really like. One of them I use a traditional wrap and turn. This one I use the German. I think the wrap and turn looks nicer, but I like the technique of the German short row. So since these are house socks, and when I wear socks, I mean, who's looking at my feet? So I'm going to do what I want. So I'm going to take these off the blockers. One thing I didn't do is weigh the yarn. It would be nice to know how much yarn that I had started with and how much I have left. But I have quite a bit of yarn left, so I could totally make another pair. So these sock blockers came from a local maker. Can you see the owl? Am I showing the right thing? Here's the owl. Local maker, and I got these at the Fiber Fusion Northwest in early June. So sunrisegrove.com, Sunrise Grove Knittery. So now I can put these in my sock stash. So super excited about it. And I talked a lot about blocking. I've never blocked my socks before, but when I took the class at with Jamie Lomax, who is Pacific Knit Co., all of her socks were blocked and they were so nice. So I think I'm going to block my socks from now on. And because I've noticed that, you know, the socks that I finish and just wear and then throw in the washing machine, they're really not as nice. They never are as nice. So I used, these are a very short pair of needles, which I don't normally use. I can't remember, maybe I still have, I do. These are a US, these are 16-inch, so these are US size 3. So I did the ribbing on that, and then I used a US size 5 for the body. And I think if I were to do this again, which I will, I actually have another sock design in mind using the Doodles, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Sorry for the crinkling. I just am compelled to put my needles away right now. So watch your ears, please. I was going to show you the leftover yarn that I have. These are several of the colors here. So this pink was the cuff, the green was a walrus. There's obviously plenty of that. This is a spin cycle DK, and I think I used that maybe for some of the dark sections like the tusk, and then this kind of the sky scene. And then, do I have that right? Yes. I did not end up using this pink at all, and this could be a worsted weight yarn. What else did I do? So I have this much of the peach left, so probably, you know, I could certainly do a stripe if I wanted to. And then this I think this is a Malabrigo, a DK weight, this variegated was kind of just all the patterning on the bottom of the sock. So those are the socks. The bag was made by my partner, Randy. It's getting a little beat up, unfortunately. This is a faux leather, and it's lined with felt. He has an industrial sewing machine. So I'm getting it's hard for me to get used to the camera in the zoom mode because I'm having to show things and lift things that I'm not used to doing. So those yarns are going to go back in the scrap pile and become something else. So I hope you have something nice to drink. I'm drinking green tea. I'm on my second cup of tea. All right, so I said I was going to talk about socks. This is in a bag made by my mom, a nice quilted bag that's lined. Herbert's going to come over and try to steal some of my scrap yarn. These socks were hibernating for a while. This is a Polka Dot Creek yarn. It's the Blanket Club from July 2024, and it came with 9 10-gram minis. So, and I'm making these 2 at a time. This pattern is from 52 Weeks of Socks, and it is the, I think it's the rocking chair. It's pattern number 7, the rocking chair pattern. So there's a chart, it's a lace chart. The cuff is not stockinette, garter. And then you go into this lace pattern. The chart is lace, and then, hopefully I'm showing you the right thing, and then it's more of a kind of a broken rib after that, and it just repeats. The heel is a heel flap and gusset. So what I'm doing is I'm doing each chart in a color, and I think I'm on the 7th color. So this one, I use Chogu red lace size 0, so 2 millimeter. You hear Herbert meowing. think my beginning of round marker fell off, but so I finished with the 7th color on this one. So, and this is how much, so I have about each lace section is, or chart section is 16 rounds. And I think I have about 5 more rounds, and this will be enough for that. The one place that I almost ran out of yarn was on the, I can't remember if it was the heel or the gusset pick up and decreases, but I just ended up with a teeny tiny amount of yarn. So the reason why I'm talking about these, the reason why these came out of hibernation is because I want to make another doodle sock that I put together the pattern from the mystery doodle, I think, that I got. And so I just want to get these off the needle so I can start that. But let me show you the yarn that I have left for these socks. So I have these two. I'm intending to use the solid color here in the toe. So, and I don't know that I can hold this up very well, so I apologize for that. But here's kind of it together. So I just sort of randomly picked, I intentionally picked the cuff color. And then it kind of was random. And then I started thinking about it more. And I think I intentionally picked the heel. And then I knew I wanted this solid color for the toe. So I've been working on those quite a bit because socks are easy for me to handle with an injured shoulder. Whereas, let me see if I can point you in the direction of that project bag. That is my colorwork sweater. It's fingering weight yarn, but it was just getting, it was getting to a point, well, now I just look like a floating head, don't I? I'm working on the first sleeve, and I would say I'm about halfway done with the sleeve, but it was just getting kind of hard to manipulate. And then with one arm in a sling, it was almost impossible. Let me catch up on a couple other projects. So this bag is also made by my mom. So some of this is hand-dyed farm yarn. Some of it's batik. This is another really nice quilted bag with a drawstring. And so this is my mini mock neck tank. I think I'm showing you the front. And my progress keeper is not where you can see it. Let's see here. So I have made some progress on it. It's really just round and round knitting at this stage. So I am going to move this progress keeper. This progress keeper, I'll show it to you as when I take it out, is this is from an advent. So it's a little, hold still there, buddy. It's a Christmas stocking, but I just grab whatever progress keeper I have. So there. So I probably have, I don't know, 20 or 30 more rounds before I do the bottom, and then there's some finishing on the neck. So the mini mock neck tank is by Jessie Maed Designs. I have my project page linked in the show notes. That is that project. Another project that I'm working on, also in a bag made by my mom. This is not quilted and it's not lined. It's just a very simple drawstring bag made with this garlic print, which I really like. So this is the Bright Axis tee. And this is a bottom-up tee made from fingering weight yarn. And get untangled here. So I am on, and let me show you. It's in this book, Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn, and it's this tee right here. Yes, right there. So So it's a solid color yarn. I used a Knit Pick Stroll for this in, I don't remember the colorway, but I'll pull out the tag here in a moment. And let me tell you what I am on. I am on the back yoke border. So, and I think this is a part of a sleeve, if I'm understanding this correctly. So the self-striping yarn is Freckled Whimsy. It's Dumbledore's Socks. So here's a nice edging here. I can't quite visualize what this is turning into yet. But, you know, I think it'll all be revealed. So I'm just going with it. And then once I get to, my camera really wants me to shut up, so I will wrap it up here. But now I only have really one decent, that's arms, that's pretty good. It's not 100%. So we'll figure out what we're gonna do. And on that note, take care everyone. I have some gardening footage for you if you are interested in it, and I'll see you next time. One of the things that I've been doing in order to get a little more exercise is every time I come up from the barn, I take the long way back to the house. I have a route that I described in my last vlog. I'm not doing that entire route, but let's look at the garden for a little bit. See if I can get this bucket from clanking. I see there's a giant weed in there that I hadn't noticed before, so I will pull that. Potatoes, rhubarb. Can't remember if that's broccoli or cabbage. It seems to be doing okay. One thing that I want to do is take the rhubarb out of this bed so that I have more room for other things. You can see an asparagus stalk. I did harvest a few spears of asparagus the other day. Kale, tomatoes, getting a little green tomato on that one. Cleaned out most of the fava beans. There's a few left, and some and the peas, because the peas were definitely done. Getting some carrots. I planted a cucumber right there and a zucchini right there. So the big trick now is to keep the bunnies and slugs, of which I see there's a slug right there. So I'll pick this leaf and unsuccessfully zhush him out with it, but I'll scooch him out in the lawn. So, and while I'm here, and lots of things have gone to seed, I am kind of torn between letting it seed and reseed itself. There's some blueberries there. I'd like those to move eventually too. Not sure when that's going to happen, but for now, I want to get this giant weed that's in the blueberries. So that came out pretty easily. Get its sibling out too. A little bit of, oh, that one's gonna break. But, so even though it rained the other day, probably gonna have to water here shortly. Sorry for this view as I reach into this blueberry that I'm not really being that successful at, so move on. There's a garlic scape. I could come out and harvest that because I do have some garlic scapes in the refrigerator that I am going to stir fry along with the 3 spears of asparagus. And I blanched the fava beans, and so I'll do a stir fry with that and probably top it with some balsamic and like a vinaigrette and some feta, which I think will be very tasty and very good for us. not entirely plant-based, but vegetarian, which I try to do. I'm not always that successful at it, and we do eat bacon. But I'm definitely limiting the amount of animal products that I eat. So this is part of my route. Check on the sweet potatoes. They don't seem like they're doing a lot. They look okay. There's a grape in that cage. This is a flowering plant. Potatoes seem to be doing okay. There's a fig right there. It seems like it's doing okay. So, and then this garden, I was able to, oh, look at the kohlrabi, yum. I was able to kind of clean out all the stuff that had gone to seed. There's still fava beans in there. I'll have to harvest those. Yeah, definitely, because some of these are getting kind of yucky with aphids. There's a pea, a valiant pea potato that I don't recall planting that I'm going to have to harvest here soon, because it looks like there's some coming to the surface. And then I assume this is a zucchini, but I don't actually recall planting it. So, excited for that. And then I usually walk around here. And let's look at, so I cleaned out all the peas here. There's something that's trying to make a comeback. I think it's a zucchini that a bunny chewed down, and it is really trying hard to come back. There was garlic here and potatoes, so I got all that cleaned out. And this is where I think I want the rhubarb to go, since I can't kill it. The hummingbirds have been loving these lilies. And there's other bulbs in here. You can see some dahlias. There's poppies and a bunch of weeds. And what are they? Tulips are in there too. Some garlic. I need to harvest my porch plants, mostly salad greens. So even though it rained, these don't really get these don't really benefit from that. So some kale, which I think I'm going to pull this one. Let the onions thrive. The mint is doing very well. I have a cabbage, and this is a CaliKim. I think it's a little shorty raised bed. Some salad greens. The zucchini that hasn't done anything there, that definitely needs water. Cuke that I planted. Am I showing that in the right place? I am. And then a zucchini in that pot. The rhubarb that refuses to die. Oh, I've got some beans coming up. Yay. Some beets that will need to go somewhere. And then the cukes are, my little pot cukes are doing well. A little lettuce. So this had a potato plant in it. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to plant in this. Maybe a salad station, so a bunch of greens. I do need to plant an herb station somewhere. I'm not sure where I'm going to do that yet. I think this is a melon, perhaps. I'm not sure. It always helps if you remember to label it and don't lose the label. So an eggplant, it's got flour on it, some basil. I think that's calendula there. And then another, I can't remember if this is a melon or a squash. So I have some tomato starts that aren't doing much yet. Basil that's gone to seed. And then these empty pots had potatoes in them. So these are the ones that I'm going to plant some fall harvest stuff in. I planted a zucchini in with the strawberries. It doesn't look like it's doing much. So probably carrots, herbs, and then salad greens is the plan. And then I'll show you what I've got on the porch. So These are cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli that are starting to emerge. This looks like a salad station here. So these are very unhappy tomatoes, and I put some lettuce seeds in there. They seem like they're starting to emerge in this in the pot here on the right. Oh, there's some peas that I planted in here, which is why there's a trellis. And yeah, these tomatoes look very unhappy, and the lettuce doesn't even seem like it's doing much. So, and I have some tomato starts here that I harvested from the tomatoes that are doing well, and then some peas seeds that I'm drying for seed saving. And then up here is a pepper, an artichoke, and another little pepper. So 3 peppers and an artichoke. And that is really the garden tour. I do have the indoor garden. One of them, the cucumber, is starting to fruit, so that's kind of cool. I don't know if I could see that. There's pepper. So I don't know if you can see that little flower on the cucumber that's in the light. There's 2 of them there. They are starting to produce little cucumbers. And then there's a tomato and lemon tree in there. And that's it for the garden.